lot with DPS for all of our opportunities, but also they are so integral to projects that are actually privately led projects, but are required to, because of the incentive that we give them, to have contracts with certified vendors, so WBE, MBE, certified businesses, and we just couldn't we wouldn't be able to do that without DPS. So thank you so much for being just a great partner. Let me see if I can fire up the presentation real quick. Give me 1 second. Okay, I see it on my screen. Here we go. All right, Kathy, you can see that? Perfect, great, okay. So once again, my name is Sophia Carey. I am a program administrator for DPD. Today I just wanted to talk a little bit about the opportunities that are with our department, but really spend some time focusing on some of the lesser known kind of indirect opportunities that you may or may not be as familiar with. These are great opportunities that if you understand kind of the mechanics of how they come to be, I think you might have a better understanding of how some of the projects that Department of Planning and Development supports can equate to opportunities for you and your business. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and move to the next slide. So I will just say that before I started working for the City of Chicago over a decade ago, I really didn't know a whole lot about the Department of Planning and Development. So for those of you who maybe are not as familiar with what we do, we are a large department, and our focus is also as broad and ambitious. We are the principal planning agency for the department, so we're really looking to promote, plan, and develop policies for comprehensive growth and sustainability for all of the city, so that's central downtown, as well as all of the neighborhoods. We are such a large city with so many unique neighborhoods. And so we have the ambitious goal of making sure that, you know, every neighborhood gets access to the amenities that they need, and that everyone kind of works together, and we have a great city that we can live, work, and play in. In terms of the departments that the public may be most familiar with, we've got 4. We have other departments that are more internal. The 4 bureaus that I think most people will recognize if they've worked with DPD are the Bureau of Zoning. So they are the ones behind the city's land use. They review building permits. So for any general contractors out there, architects who are like, oh yes, all building permits need to go through zoning. I'm sure you're very familiar with that team. For those who are maybe not as familiar with zoning, I always like to say, you know, the reason why we have kind of residential areas of the city where there's a lot of, say, bungalows or just a lot of condo buildings, and you don't have someone going into the middle of that street or that block tearing down a house to build a McDonald's with a drive-through, that's courtesy of zoning. We want to make sure that areas of the city are properly zoned for residential, for business, for downtown high rises, so on and so forth. So next we've got the Bureau of Planning and Design, and of these kind of 4 departments, it's probably one of the newer bureaus that was established in DPD. With our new commissioner, Commissioner Cox, we have reorganized, and this new Bureau of Planning and Design is really comprised of a series of teams of planners who work with the different regions of the city, the stakeholders within those regions, to understand what are the fundamental needs of those areas and how we can continue to attract investments into and continue to build up and provide the kind of the property opportunities that are needed for that area. Next, we've got the citywide system. So in terms of kind of two areas that might be familiar to the public through the citywide systems would be our sustainability group. So they're really looking at things like, where in the city do we not have enough grocery stores and healthy food uh, options? Why is that? And how can we bring that into those neighborhoods? How can we change that? Also, things like historic preservation. So those buildings, the beautiful architecture that really mean something, and also kind of give Chicago the character that it has. How do we encourage those buildings to continue to be maintained and be an asset to their neighborhoods? And then finally, we've got the Bureau of Economic Development. So this is the group that works with our TIF, which stands for the Tax Increment Financing System. Our property tax abatement. So depending on the types of investments that you're making into, land and property in the city, there may be property tax abatements that you can take advantage of, as well as a host of other programs and incentives that I'll kind of talk a little bit about later on in the presentation. All four of these areas, plus the other bureaus that are more internal, are really, we work under a set of kind of four values. And I wanted to share that with everyone because I think it's important that as you look to partner with us or partner with other projects, the project owners that we are supporting, that you understand what are the values that we use to drive our decision making and to drive the dollars that we invest into those projects. So the first value is that DPD has over the course of the last few years under Mayor Lightfoot really become very much community engaged. What that means is we want to plan with the community, not at the community. So if you look at the picture on the right, that's actually a picture of a kickoff that we had maybe a couple of years ago through our Invest Southwest initiative. And there you can see this was a large department-wide event where we went into a neighborhood. We had maps up and we had sticky notes and Post-its, and we really asked the community stakeholders, what would you like to see more of in your neighborhood? What are the issues that you see in your neighborhood? What are things that you leave your neighborhood to go elsewhere for that we can attract or we can build into the future of your neighborhood? So very much community engaged and then community decision based projects. We collaborate with subject experts, anywhere from academic researchers and analysts to monthly corridor roundtables where we, for 12 of the neighborhoods within Invest Southwest, we sit down every month and we look at, say, vacant lots in the neighborhood with the stakeholders and say, what's going on here? What can we do with this space? This is an opportunity for us. We have briefings with community representatives where we let them know about new projects that are coming down the pipeline or ask them about what issues that they're seeing in their neighborhood. And then when projects are completed, we hold neighborhood celebrations, whether that's a ribbon cutting or just an acknowledgement of the hard work that the developers and the project owners have put into making these projects into reality. So the second value that really drives our decision making and where we invest our dollars is equity. And I know that word is used a lot these days. And so I just want to share a little bit about what equity-driven work means for us. To us, it means that all areas of the city deserve investments and deserve opportunities. Residents in all areas deserve to have a healthy environment and have the amenities to help them at home, at work, and for play. So as we know, certain areas of the city in the past have really seen a boom in investments, and then other areas have not only been ignored, but have actually been disinvested in. And so as we do our work, we are really looking to support attracting investment into those areas that have seen that disinvestment or have been ignored for so long and have really a lot of untapped opportunities that we can unlock, and we can help drive improvements and growth in those areas. The third value that we really look at is being design focused. And what does that mean? It means that all areas of the city, regardless of, the income level, deserves to be beautiful. All residents deserve to have inspiring spaces for them to see, as they walk down the streets, and we want to be intentional about that. So again, our design focus includes thinking about equity and inclusivity. It's not beautiful spaces are not the privilege of only the wealthy. We look at neighborhood authenticity. So are there certain cultural aspects to a particular neighborhood, or the history of a neighborhood that we really want to maintain and celebrate and acknowledge? We look at sustainability and resiliency, right? So again, are there certain areas of the city that maybe are lacking in healthy food options, or are there areas that are more prone to flooding or other environmental factors? And how can we use design to help mitigate those concerns? Public accessibility. So this is, are folks able to have the access they need to public transportation, to the street, the road system, and also just the design of the properties, that it is accessible and that everyone can enjoy walking down the street and seeing what is happening right next to the sidewalk. And finally, recognizing the economic benefits of design. Customers, clients want to go to beautiful spaces. And so how can we use design to really drive and bring more dollars into these neighborhoods because of the way the spaces are programmed and built. The last value I really want to talk about is the fact that DPD is very much future forward. Many of you may have heard about the new initiative, the We Will Chicago. I think what is sometimes lost is just how big of an initiative this is. It is a 3-year citywide planning initiative that other cities across the U.S. have done sometime in the last 10 years, but in the city of Chicago, we have not done that in over 50 years. So as we think about how the demographics of the city change, how people come in and how people leave the city, we really want to have a holistic future planning system that connects all of the different neighborhoods, the downtown area, and allows all of the residents and the entrepreneurs and the employees that come into the city to really be able to thrive here. If you look, we do have a special website created for this initiative. It's wewillchicago.com, and I would encourage everyone to actually go there, take a look, do a read. It's very fast, but most importantly, sign up for the email list, because this really is an initiative where we are looking to hear from all of the residents and employees and everyone who comes into the city and makes our city, the place that it is. So with that said, wanted to talk really briefly about city contracts. I'm sure all of you here are interested in knowing how can you get a contract with Department of Planning and Development. And the answer really is quite simple. All of our contracts and opportunities are handled through DPS. And so I will, at the end, I'll kick things back to Kathy. She can talk about making sure that you're signed up on their email list. We also push out our opportunities through our e-newsletter as well. So that'll be at the end of the presentation. please sign up for our e-newsletters anytime we have an opportunity available. We will go ahead and post it as well as DPS. In general, any direct contracts with our department are going to be in the real estate industry. So we're looking at, brokers, appraisers, inspectors. We do sometimes have professional services, so we might have special research projects where we need someone to do some serious kind of analytical surveying of particular neighborhoods. So those types of opportunities come and go based on the focus of our projects. And then finally, we have delegate agencies. So these are organizations that are typically nonprofit, and they are our kind of eyes and ears and boots on the ground, so to speak, in a lot of these areas. And they help us connect with the community on all of the projects and initiatives that we have. Okay, so now I'm going to move on and talk a little bit about these other kind of more indirect opportunities that I think are often unrealized, at least from my experience here at DPD. And these are really our private-public partnerships. What these are projects that are led or owned by a different organization, can be a for-profit or a nonprofit organization, but it is definitely not the City of Chicago Department of Planning and Development. Our role is in being a partner in that project and providing financial incentives and other types of public assistance. So what are some of the programs that are more commonly recognized that make up kind of this realm of opportunities? I think first is TIF. Lots of people have heard about TIF. Used to be, you could see lots of articles in the media about certain projects or certain developers receiving millions of TIF. And there's a lot of, I think, misunderstanding of what TIF actually does or how those funds are utilized. But TIF, which again stands for tax increment financing, is just a way where property taxes for a certain area are specifically redirected and reinvested into that area for specific projects. And I'll talk a little bit about how you can find out more about those TIF projects and what your role may be. Similarly, there's the Small Business Improvement Fund, or SPIF as we call it, and that is also a TIF-funded project. It tends to be smaller projects, and it can be anywhere from a local business that needs to upgrade their windows to, facade work, to mechanical work, anything that is an improvement, again, on property within a certain TIF area. The Chicago Development Fund is sometimes also known as the New Market Tax Credit Program. Those are also another way to get financial incentives on an investment project. The Chicago PACE program is relatively new. Actually, it's the newest out of this bunch, and it really is designed to support sustainability projects. So whether that's energy, whether that's resiliency, whether that's kind of energy efficient windows, solar power. The Chicago PACE program is designed to help support that type of initiative by providing loan opportunities at a lower rate. And then the program that is kind of near and dear to my heart is the Neighborhood Opportunity Fund. I work on that program every day. And that is a fund that is not property tax based. And it is specifically used to help support local businesses in some of the areas of the city that have seen disinvestment over the last couple of decades, and to attract new investment into those areas. So we'll just talk a little bit about or provide a sample of how some of these projects work. Some of you may know that on the city's data portal, which is data.cityofchicago.org, there is a program or an application that's called the TIF Projects Map. And these are just some screenshots from this amazing map, which I think not a lot of people know about. The website is it's kind of a long website, but you can also go to it by going to data.cityofchicago.gov, and then doing a keyword search for the TIF Projects Map. If you look on the left, this is a map of the city of Chicago. There's this light blue areas that show where all the TIF areas are within the city of Chicago. And then if you look at all of these little dots, whether they're yellow or red, those are all projects that have been approved to receive TIF funding. Some of them are public projects, so it could be a new library, for example. It could be a new park. Oops, sorry. Let me go back. And some of them are private. So, for example, Sterling Bay, Lincoln Yards, which received a lot of publicity a few years ago, that is also receiving TIF funds. And the way this map works is you can either type in an address and look it up, or you can just do kind of a scan of the city map. And if you are interested in any of these projects, you click on it, it actually pops out a window that tells you what that work, what that project entails. And then it'll give you what the total project cost is, how much of a TIF, of the TIF payment has been approved for it. And then at the end, there's something called a redevelopment agreement. So every single one of these projects has a special contract or an agreement with the city where they say, for the amount of TIF funds we're getting, this is what we're going to commit to. And within the redevelopment agreement, you're going to get to see who are the contacts, who is the developer, right? Who are the contacts behind it? And you're also going to get to see what are the obligations that they have to make this project happen and to get their funds. So if they have a requirement, for example, that 25% of their project budget needs to go to an MBE certified business, it's going to be in there. If it's maybe it's 5% to WBE businesses. Every single one of these projects has a redevelopment agreement. And if you happen to be certified as a W or MBE business, this is a great way for you to see, okay, where are these projects that you might be able to partner with a developer and provide your services and be able to be a part of. Also, part of the redevelopment agreement is often requirements for local residency. So what percentage of the construction work has to be done by local residents. And there is also prevailing wage. So if you happen to be in an organization that is providing prevailing wage to their employees, that's also another huge opportunity for you. So, yes, the TIF Projects Map, you'll look in this sample right here. I don't have it, I'm not showing it on the screenshots, but this was a project that was approved back in 2002. It is a completed project right now, so this one is kind of done and over with, but there's constantly new projects that are coming on the line and new project and existing projects that are just kind of in the midst of it and, you know, could provide some opportunity to you and your organization. Okay, some other sample projects that we have. So we'll start from the left and work to our right. So this fine gentleman with the t-shirt that says 345, he actually used the NOF program to help pay for the build out for a gallery, an art gallery here in Garfield Park. So the Neighborhood Opportunity Fund is eligible to both businesses as well as commercial property owners who are interested in doing renovations or build outs or even new construction. So, you know, vacant land up to create space for an identified commercial use or, you know, business amenity. We have this SPIF, the Aquinas Literary Center. The SPIF program, they were able to build out and renovate their storefront. So all of that was paid for through SPIF funds. The hotel here, I can't honestly remember the name of it, but this is the first PACE-supported program in the city of Chicago. And this was really unique. This was a hotel that is downtown Chicago. They wanted to renovate just their elevators. And so they realized by putting in kind of a smart interactive elevators that know kind of, you know, how to send energy, that there would be an energy savings for the operation of the business. And so they were able to get PACE funding to support just elevator improvements. And finally, here we've got the Bronzeville RFP. This is just an example of our department identifying these larger lots in the city, and we know that there's not always, there's not a lot of them. But when we identify a large piece of vacant land that is city owned, we will go out in an RFP and say, hey, do you have a proposal for this area? If so, let us know. We'll take a look at it and we'll work with that developer to bring that proposal and that vision to reality. This Bronzeville RFP, by the way, the responses are due March 30th, so that's coming up. And more information about this, as well as other RFPs, can be found on our Invest Southwest website. So, kind of going back and thinking a little bit more broadly, how can you leverage what I'm going to refer to as these private-public partnerships? I think one is you need to know kind of where you fit into this environment. Are you and your organization the type to be a direct recipient? A direct recipient basically means that the city is going to support your project, you're the project owner, and you are going to be responsible for bringing it through to fruition. So, and you could be. So if you have an existing business location in the city and you want to put improvements into it, maybe SPIF is an option for you. Maybe you're interested in creating a new commercial office for your business, in which case, maybe NOF is something that would be of an opportunity for you. So the first question is, are you going to be a direct recipient? For some people, that answer is definitely going to be no. We're not going to ever be a direct recipient from the city of Chicago. In which case, the next question is, well, then would your role be a contractor or some other service provider to a direct recipient? And again, what that means is this is indirect. The city is going to support the project owner, and the project owner is then going to hire you or have a contract with you for the work. Special opportunities are always available for WBE, MBE certified businesses, businesses that meet the local residency qualification, and businesses that provide prevailing wage. I'll just say I have been in meetings where developers are saying, I can't find an MBE certified electrician. I just can't meet the requirements for what percentage of my budget goes to MBE or WBE because I can't find anyone there. And we know that's not true because we work with DPS and we know that there are certified businesses out there. And it's just a matter of connecting with the developers to get that work done. So what are some next steps? After you recognize I'm a direct recipient, or really I'm probably more likely that to be a contractor to a direct recipient, is to really understand what are the programs that could support the work that you do. So if you're an electrician, if you're a carpenter, anytime you hear about a real estate investment, developer project that is getting TIF, right? That might be an opportunity for you to reach out to the developer and say, hey, are you looking for someone to do carpentry work on this project? If you're looking at articles in media, they're not going to say, hey, this developer is looking for these types of contractors. What you're going to read is this developer is getting X amount of money in TIF funds. So if you see those articles, you're going to, my suggestion or my what I would encourage is that in your mind, anytime you hear TIF, you go, okay, who are they using for those projects? Because maybe I could be one of those vendors. For those of you who might be eligible to be WBE or MBE and haven't certified yet, I really encourage you to certify because you are going to be able to have access to opportunities that are not going to be available to businesses who aren't certified. Same goes with businesses who commit to hiring local residents or paying prevailing wage. In terms of just knowing what types of opportunities are coming down the pipe on a regular basis, the best advice I have for you is sign up for both the DPD and the DPS e-newsletter. Even for our newsletter, it goes out once a month. We will highlight what are the large projects that recently got approved, and talk a little bit about who the developer is and the timeline and the dollars and so forth. So if you are signed up for our newsletter, you're going to learn about projects as they go through the approval process. And to kind of be in the front of the line in terms of connecting with those project owners to find out if there's opportunities for you. And that leads me to, item number 4, which is engage the client, right? So if you are a direct recipient, come talk to us at DPD. We're happy to talk to you and hear what you're proposing for your project and what programs or assistance programs we might have for you, incentive programs. If it's not us, you need to reach out to these developers and these project owners and say, hey, I have this service. I think I would be a great partner for you in this particular project. Let's talk. In terms of opportunities that are available right now, the Neighborhood Opportunity Fund program is currently accepting applications. We are taking applications until April 9th. So the website for that is chicago.gov/NOF. You can also find that program on DPD's main website, which is chicago.gov/DPD. We have 4 RFP opportunities that are available until March 30th for Invest Southwest neighborhoods. So if you go to the Invest Southwest website, you will find out about where are these kind of tracts of vacant land that the city is looking for proposals on. And then for anyone who's interested in the Small Business Improvement Fund or the SPIF program, there is a webinar coming up on April 7th. So if you're not as familiar with that program and you want to be, I would say definitely check out that webinar. They'll tell you all about the ins and outs of the program. And then the way the SPIF works is there's new funding that opens in different TIFs every month of 2021. So if you go to their website, chicago.gov/SPIF, you will actually see the calendar of which areas of the city are going to have funding available for that SPIF program. There's also an interactive map where you can type in the address and it'll tell you if that address is in a particular TIF and whether that TIF is about to open up soon for SPIF project applications. So finally, I think I want to leave you with our contact information. This actually is just a screen grab from the bottom of the DPD website. If you look at the bottom of our website, the priority initiatives are all here. So the We Will Chicago, Invest Southwest, Neighborhood Opportunity Fund, PACE, and some of the other programs are all there. Our main website is chicago.gov/DPD, and you can also sign up for our DPD email list there as well. I think that is it. Kathy, can I turn it back over to you?
Oh, sure, of course. Sophia, thank you so much. Oh, right. I think I get to share again. So now, folks, is our time for some Q&A. If you folks, I saw there was at least one question. Let me get to that in just one second. So here is our Q&A slide. Thank you so much, Sophia, for that awesome overview. Here at the Department of Procurement Services, it's not, when we work with DPD, we love our partnership with DPD. It's not necessarily like a linear process in that like DPS is procuring something for the Department of Planning, but there are such a wealth of opportunities that are available through your department. We think it's just really critical, certainly in the construction space too, to make sure that you guys are included and really a part of this conversation at the Construction Summit. So thank you so much for bringing all those great resources to this group. I was trying to keep up with you like in the chat, for the folks out there, we certainly are going to have the presentation materials available online. I tried to put a couple of the links in today's chat so you can go ahead and go to those directly. There was a question here on the table, it's kind of early in the presentation from a real estate professional. He's asking, do I need to live in the city of Chicago to bid on opportunities? And how do I sign up for the department's newsletter? So I think there's a couple multi-part there. Certainly for the Department of Procurement Services, there's not a requirement to be living in the city of Chicago to bid. There certainly are some incentives, I think, through both of our departments wherein if there's a workforce located in the Chicago or some other incentives of that kind, there are incentives for that. But certainly to bid, at least for a DPS, that living in the city of Chicago is not a requirement. I do want to call out that certainly for real estate professionals, and Sophia might add to that, like from the DPD perspective, but we certainly encourage folks, if you're not familiar, to check out the buying plan. So that's produced by DPS, issued roughly quarterly. COVID had put a bump in our schedule at some point, I think, as it done for many people around the world, but we are keeping up with a quarterly schedule here, and that is all of the contracting opportunities that we procure at the city, but also our sister agencies, as well as other government entities like Cook County, state of Illinois, et cetera. So if it isn't something necessarily that the city is buying, we certainly encourage folks to make themselves familiar with what is in the buying plan to see if other entities are in need of those services. So I'll kind of let you kind of plug in, Sophia, about the real estate and opportunities at DPD, how that might be.
Yeah, I actually echo everything you say, Kathy, and DPD does use the buying plan. So anything that comes through, in terms of real estate professionals and contracts with DPD will come through DPS. So anyone that signed up for your e-newsletter will find out about it as well. And yes, we have incentives to support local. But is that an actual requirement? It may not be. It just depends on the RFP, I guess.
Of course, yes. And I mean, I think we both feel that, but the vendor community cannot be over-informed, right? Which is why both of our departments, we're all trying to communicate this information in lots of different ways, like bringing you today's session, the buying plan. Once a week, we issue an email alert newsletter that talks about all the projects that are on the street. We'll put that link in the chat too. It's chicago.gov/DPS alert. I think once our team discovered that we could get a vanity URL, we really went to town with that, as did you. Chicago.gov DPD, Chicago.gov NOF, Chicago.gov SBIF. So yes. Take a guess, right, folks? And so also we are also on social media. So we certainly encourage everyone to follow us there through our various channels to stay in touch about the opportunities that are coming up there. So we both have newsletters. We encourage you all to sign up for all of them. So, and that's how you can stay in touch. Question. There was a discussion of opportunities for real estate broker professionals. Is there a way to get some more information about that?
There is. We don't have anything currently available. So there's at least not that I'm aware of. So I would again encourage folks to sign up for the DPS and DPD websites. Typically, as I understand, the way it works is there's a list of kind of approved brokers or approved appraisers that we are able to secure with DPS's support, and then that list is good for, I don't know, a year or something like that. And then anytime we have a project where we have need of those types of professions, we just reach out to that list. So I think the key is really to when we're open and accepting kind of new applicants, to make sure you get on that list. It's not tied directly to a particular project at that time, but once you're on that list, when a project comes out, you'll get notified about it.
Got it. So I would just like to build on that. So, I mean, the contracts, are always put in for some length of time, whether it's 3 years or 5 years, or it just really depends on the services. And so that is, that is a cyclical process. So, yeah, Sophia's right. Folks should look out to see when there's going to be an advertisement for that pool, because we wouldn't go into like bidding for like a very small, kind of a one-off task, if you will. So really the strategy is to see, when those pools are advertised and to kind of apply to be part of those pools. I'd like to, also give a plug to the workshops that DPS conducts that Jackie Umbles of our team. We can do this without her. She coordinates all of those. And one in particular is taught by Rodney LeBeau of our team, who's also facilitating the chat here today. It's called How to Navigate the DPS website. So for questions like that, where, you know, how do I find who is currently in the pool? You know, you can use the buying plan to forecast, you know, when something is potentially going to advertise, but also there's a wealth of information on the city website in the interest of transparency. But sometimes it is, folks need some help to kind of navigate through that. So certainly you can, we can identify, work to identify what are the existing pools, when do those contracts, you know, expire, what do those contracts look like, and that I think will also can help you as a business forecast, you know, when might the city go out to bid for these services again. So that's certainly as another strategy, but, you know, please know that like we at the Department of Procurement Services and the Department of Planning are committed to doing these kinds of sessions and updating the buying plan regularly to keep you in the loop about when these kinds of opportunities are going to arise. Perfect. So I'm just doing kind of a last review of the, make sure I didn't miss anything. DPS team. Okay, I think we've got all of the questions. So with that, I would like to thank Ms. Sophia Carey once again from the Department of Planning. Thank you so much for being here and sharing all that information with us. We look forward to our ongoing collaboration with you. And certainly we thank all of our attendees here today for joining us for this session. We hope that you will join us for one of our remaining sessions today, and then certainly stay in touch with us at DPS in terms of like future opportunities to, you know, learn about what's coming up, as well as we hope in the future to really enhance how we're able to network with one another. So absolutely, please stay in touch with us. Thank you very much and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Yep. Thanks, Kathy. Thanks, everyone, and good luck.